This past offseason, after losing Jacob deGrom to the Texas Rangers, Mets owner Steve Cohen moved on by signing a guy who's won the Cy Young Award in his last 2 full seasons, Justin Verlander. Verlander is still throwing hard, nasty, is efficient. I mean, he's basically as good as ever, yet he's entering his age 40 season. It's unbelievable, yet here we are, with JV about to join a stacked rich Mets team. Verlander is also reuniting with a former teammate of his back when he was in Detroit, Max Scherzer. 2022 was Max Scherzer's first year as a Met after he signed a massive short-term contract the offseason leading into that year. He had a really good season, helping lead the Mets to the postseason, and with Scherzer now being alongside his old pal Verlander again, things are looking bright for the Mets and their fans. Except there's just one little teeny tiny issue. Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander were never necessarily the best of friends. If you like the content you see, hit that subscribe button with the bell for notifications. In this video, I'm going to go over the timeline and events along with what has been said over the years that implies that these two have never really loved each other, and how it will affect today's Mets. Back when Verlander and Scherzer were teammates in Detroit, it seemed they always had a weird relationship, and catcher Gerald Laird, who played with both guys on the Tigers, had this to say, quote, "Scherzer and JV were real big drama queens. It was always an argument. Not an argument, but they would always get at each other's throats in the clubhouse, but I loved it, because they pushed each other to the point where now you're seeing 2 Hall of Famers," end quote. Other former Tigers catcher Alex Avila said that the two pitchers had type A personalities, adding on that even though they would sometimes attack each other, it wasn't out of dislike or anything, but rather a difference of opinion. That sometimes the result was because their styles were different and that it was a really good collaboration. As far as the former Tigers general manager goes, Dave Dombrowski, he had this to say, quote, "Let's say they butted heads. It was never a bad butting. It would be more from a competitive perspective, which isn't always bad. Okay, you pitched. Now I'm going to be better than you." I don't think they were two who went out a lot with one another, that type of social friendly situation. I'd say the competitive aspect is the way to describe it. They were not the best of buddies, but I didn't have any problems with them, end quote. Catcher James McCann, who was also around the two superstar pitchers a little bit, said that without coming out and saying it, you could just tell that these two guys competed with each other, that is just who they are, their DNA, that you put both of them in the locker room together and they're going to compete with each other. So it's pretty clear that Verlander and Scherzer were never great friends or anything like that, at least back when they were younger on the Tigers. So how will this affect the Mets in today's world? I don't believe it will, at least not in a bad way. The two guys are a lot different than they were last time they played together. Scherzer and Verlander have both added 2 Cy Young Awards to their resume, but even more so than that, off the field, they've both become husbands and fathers. When asked recently at spring training about his relationship with Verlander back in their Detroit days and how they will be now in New York, Max Scherzer went on to say that both he and Verlander are at a different stage of their careers, but more importantly, a different stage of their lives, and that things will be a lot different now, with him adding on that he does not believe it will be an issue. Justin Verlander kind of reiterated that same sentiment. Watch.
I'm really looking forward to being here with him again. We're obviously in different situations in our lives, and I think we could both look back at our time in Detroit together, and we had such an incredible team and weren't able to achieve the ultimate goal. So hopefully, reunited here, we can achieve that.
Now, maybe the competitiveness of both guys against each other will come out again and it will affect the Mets clubhouse, but that probably won't happen. These are two guys who have matured a lot over the years, are older now, more established than they were the last time they were teammates, so this won't be a problem. I actually never knew that these two guys had any sort of friction between one another at any point, so I guess you learn something new every day. Let me know what you think, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.